So I've actually received a few emails pertaining to what can I expect from this reverse the curse ritual. And I thought that was actually a pretty good question. I'm going to sum it up with 3 words. Specifically, I don't know. And the reason being is because you got to remember, you're in your own process right now of, having dealt with what you would label as a curse in whatever particular area. This particular kind of cycle that you're ready to be free from. Now, there have been individuals who get seemingly spontaneous results. There have been individuals where the change matriculates into their life. It's like a domino. You started the domino. The butterfly started flapping its wings shortly afterwards, or however long, One thing we have to be able to do is to get out of this whole constraint, this, in a way, prison of time. Worried about time. If you're living worried about time, you're living from and trapped in the ego. The ego is one of these components that helps to keep this cycle in place. The biggest thing, one of the biggest things that I would like to see you get from it is trust. I was thinking about how trust and surrender really go hand in hand. In the meditation, I was actually shown that exercise that people do where somebody stands up and they let go. They surrender and they fall back and they trust that that person is going to catch you. And the person that's going to catch you is the authentic, the real you. Your divine you. Part of that whole trust factor is you led yourself here to this crossroads. And yes, even to this particular ritual as your weapon or tool of choice to graduate this cycle that you find yourself in. I like to use that languaging instead, graduate. What happens when you graduate? You elevate, right? You go from kindergarten to first grade. You go from 8th grade to 9th grade. You go from 12th grade into college. Even going from, 8th grade to 9th grade, that's a pretty good analogy as far as just no matter what year of school you find yourself in, because each year is its own different reality. There is a big difference between the 8th grade and the 9th grade. You go from being the big fish back to being the little fish again, back to being a freshman. But what I wanted to really get across here is you might have been in this situation or had this similar experience, maybe years, possibly even all your life. I'm not saying it's going to take another all your life for you to graduate. But the ego aspect wants to grab on tight, wants to white knuckle it, wants to know everything that's going to happen, wants to, it does not work like that. In this process, you're going to get more and more comfortable with the unknown. It's okay that you don't know. Surrender is a major and symbolic gesture of trust. I know a lot of times it doesn't feel like that, because in order for a person to get to a point where they're going to surrender, most of the time you are physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally just drained, done. To whereas the ego basically shorts out, it fries out, and you have no choice but to let go and fall back. And your divinity is there. And even though it doesn't seem like there's a trust there, there is. Some of us are a little bit more hard-headed or stubborn at times than at other times. That might be an experience that's required in the past or whatever. My point is, with this ritual, why wait until you're just basically almost dead, depleted, inside and out, when you can be consciously proactive with it? When you can, start the fall of dominoes yourself. Yes, you consciously did it. You chose to do it. You have that control to actually, for example, join now. But then there's always the paradox that comes with it. You're enacting a process that has fuckloads of unknown in it. And if you're going to get on the ride, you're going to get on the ride, and if not, then, you will eventually reach a point where you're not going to be able to carry all of that anymore. Something is going to give. So, just to answer the question, this ritual is a tool, and it is also a doorway. Now, I can't make you walk through the doorway. I wouldn't want to. If you are ready and you choose to, then you are essentially creating a whole new reality of options and choices, of situations, many of which you're just not going to know what they are from this vantage point, from this perspective. You're just not. So what I can tell you, though, is you can definitely expect to see that leverage that you've been waiting to be able to, get off this fucking merry-go-round in this particular area of your life. You're on that merry-go-round for a reason. There are things, benefits, advantages that you will pull from having been on that merry-go-round. I say been as in past tense. Been as in you done learned and gleaned the jewels, the gems, the lessons which transform you. But if you're going to remain on it, that means that you're still basically asleep. And yes, sometimes, the merry-go-round, with each rotation, it does get harsher. It doesn't get easier, if you notice. You may become more familiar with the pain or disappointment or the frustration of whatever results emanate from being on this merry-go-round. But even at that, there is an intensity shift, usually, because at some point in time, you're going to get bucked off that merry-go-round. And it's usually can be very traumatic, but it takes its toll. The way out is to go in. And that's what we're doing in this ritual. You will be freed in that area and of course, enacting and cascading a whole bunch of other effects in all areas of your life and being. This is Shango Ray. I look forward to serving you, and thank you for your questions. And to everyone else who's joined, I'm excited. I'm very, very passionate about this, and it's going to show forth in the ritual and in your life. So we'll see you on the other side. Peace.